Hey everyone, it's the Chaplain here, coming to you with a quick video. A little bit of BBR version 3 recap. Ben and I are at the end of round 4, playing my friend Mr. Scrubbert. He is the Axis and I am the Allies. You might have noticed from my last recap video that he, as Germany, is really kind of pounding away at the Russians. And that is just so true. Anyway, the main purpose for this video, more than just a recap, is because at the end I'm going to do a full disposition of all forces, because I have to pack this up. I'm going to take my 3.1.03 Lieutenant Dan Sired Blood map to Atlanta with me tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I'm leaving for Atlanta for the Bloodbath Tournament. I'm so excited to be going. This will be my first tournament, if you will. I've been playing this game for close to 15 years. Got started when I was in high school. I went to this guy's house. He was a youth leader at then she was my girlfriend, now she's my wife. He was a youth leader at her church, and he had the classic, of which I have 3. Only 2 boxes though, because you know, it's old. And man, I just got hooked. I bought my first one on eBay the next day, and now look what the game has evolved into. So, it's crazy. I'm going to be going to Atlanta. I'm going to be throwing some dice with just really the best kind of guys. In my experience so far in this game, it's been a lot of fun to be in conversation with them in preparation for the game. And this community is just so awesome. If you recall from an earlier video, this map was a gift to me, right? These planes were a gift to me. So this community is just amazing. So I'm going to give you a small recap, and then you can sign off, tune out, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do a full disposition of forces. Instead of taking pictures, this will just be how I'm keeping track of things. Ben, Mr. Scrubbert, at any point in time, if you're watching this and I have something different than what you have, let me know, and we will correct that. But yeah, so we're gonna start round 5. Everyone has their technology. Not everyone has displayed their technology. So jet fighters are Japan and UK. US has advanced shipyards. Germany hasn't revealed their tech yet. Russia hasn't revealed their tech yet. Italy hasn't revealed his tech yet, I don't think. ANZAC has not revealed their tech yet. But the American fleet is quite sizable. There are 3 fully loaded carriers there and 1 up here. There's a battleship, cruiser, and destroyer. Down here I've got a couple subs. Cruiser, destroyer, cruiser, destroyer, a couple bombers. ANZAC has quite the fleet. Over here in the Caroline Islands, 2 destroyers, destroyer, cruiser, sub, and then up here they've got destroyer, cruiser, destroyer, sub, and transport. Like, that's just crazy to me. And then they haven't lost a single fighter. They've landed their fighters there. Japan has taken out all of China, so victory point for them, as well as marching into Tunguska, which is crazy. They reclaimed Korea because he doesn't want my American planes landing there. The Brits have a sizable navy down here. Battleship, cruiser, 4 destroyers. So, we're looking at a pretty substantial standing for the Allies in the Pacific. Up here I've got my base and a small landing party. And then we start moving towards the Middle East, and with UK having jet fighters, those fighters are going to be very significant here in a few turns, as well as these fighters down here. I took my 2 fighters that were in Tanganyika territory and attacked his mech and tank that he had in Egypt, and I didn't lose a plane, which was very nice. I was able to take out some fast movers. So Italy, even though they have a factory there, is not out of the woods yet in Africa. However, he has controlled the Med for at least 2 full rounds now. So Africa is a much different story for the Allies. Ben has done very, very well in the European theater, as evidenced by at least the start of Africa. But then over here in all of these territories, they're just all his. Bessarabia is his, Western Ukraine is his, Poland, Baltic states, Vyborg, Finland, they're all his. And even Belarus, gigantic, crazy stack Belarus. Russia is holed up. But even the German blitz into Nenetsia, worth nothing. But now it's closer to Urals. You know, there's just a whole lot going on. Russia, admittedly, is my worst country to play. The Brits are doing pretty well over here. They haven't been attacked or even moved against. And they've got a sizable fleet down here. These 3 ships are Canadian. I don't have Canadian roundels, so I was using Upside Down and Union Jack. This is all Canadian down here in South America. So, hopefully if we can keep him out of the Atlantic, even if he gets his money to turn these 2 pro-Axis, hopefully I can prevent him from coming down here. Because he does have a sizable dispersion of things in the Med. And then he's got the rest of his German fleet up here. And the Canadians are just plodding along. America's plodding along. But yeah, that is the basic gist, the end of round 4 recap. I'm going to pause the video and get my tripod set up so that I can do the disposition of forces. And I'm going to start shuffling pieces away as I do it so that I don't mistake anything. The only place I'm worried about messing up is the jumble, but we should be just fine because we've been playing not on YouTube but live on the phone. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Just gonna kind of start on one side and walk towards the other. Canada has 2 infantry in Brazil, and they control Brazil. They also have an infantry in French Guiana. Canada also has 2 transports and a destroyer in Sea Zone 91, as well as a tank and 2 infantry in Gibraltar. The Brits have a battleship and a destroyer in 91. The Americans have a bomber, 3 mech, infantry and tank in Central, and then they have an artillery and 3 AA guns in Washington, D.C. The Canadians also have 2 infantry in Quebec, a destroyer in 106, and then 101 has a destroyer, transport, cruiser, and 2 subs. I can do that. Alright. Let's just go down here. The Brits have 3 tanks in South Africa, 2 fighters in Belgian Congo. The Italians control Sudan and Alamein. They have 2 infantry and 2 artillery in Tobruk. The French have 2 infantry in Libya, and they control it. They also have an infantry in Tunisia and Algeria. Malta is controlled by Italy, as is Cyprus and Crete. And then in Egypt, 2 tanks. These are Italian, 2 tanks, 2 Italian mechs, 2 Italian fighters, 3 Italian infantry, and an Italian tactical bomber, minor factory, and Germany has an artillery. French infantry in Transjordan. Ooh, straighten that up a little bit. Sorry. Russian infantry in Iraq and Russia-controlled northwest Iran. UK owned Iraq, Iran, eastern Iran. In Iraq, they have a tank, infantry, artillery, 2 fighters, and a tactical bomber. In the Sea Zone, off the coast of Egypt in 98, Germany has a transport. Italy has a battleship, a cruiser, and 2 transports. They also have in 95 a destroyer. In in 93 there are 2 German subs. In 92 there's a German sub, cruiser, and transport. Italy owns Greece, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia. In southern Italy there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry, 2 artillery, a strategic bomber, and their factory. Northern Italy had 1 AA gun. Southern France, I'll move this up. Southern France, I gotta stabilize my tripod, sorry. Southern France is German controlled. They have an infantry. In France, which Germany controls, they have an infantry. Western Germany, they have 3 infantry. There are 3 Italian infantry and an Italian AAA in Holland, Belgium. Normandy has an AA gun, a German tank, German mech, Germany controlled, and 2 artillery. C-Zone 105 has a British cruiser. Okay. Denmark has 2 infantry. Norway has an infantry. 124 has a Brit sub. 125 has a British destroyer. 110 has a French cruiser. 3 British destroyers. Germany has an AA gun, 2 tanks, an infantry, and an artillery. Okay. In Scotland, the Canadians still exist with an AA gun, 2 Canadians. In London, 2 French infantry and a French fighter, 1, 2, 3 British fighters, an artillery, and a mech, along with 4 AAA guns. Oh my gosh, this is a pile. I have to sort that. Anyway, this is only a 5-minute video so far. Okay. Here we go. German-controlled Bessarabia has a fighter and a tactical. German-controlled Western Ukraine has 2 infantry. German-controlled Eastern Poland has 2 Strat bombers, an AA gun, and a mech. Alright. German-controlled Baltic states had 3 infantry, 3 artillery, and a AAA. Russia has 3 infantry, 3 tanks in Ukraine with 3 artillery. They have an infantry, artillery, and factory in Rostov because they moved it. An infantry and artillery in Samara because they moved it. A tank in Bryansk. Oh, not doing too bad. Here we go. In C-Zone 115, Germany has 2 transports, 2 submarines, destroyer and cruiser and battleship. In Finland, 4 German infantry, German-controlled Vyborg has 2 infantry. Russia has 2 infantry in Karelia. Leningrad has 2 infantry, 3 artillery, and 2 AA guns with an undamaged factory. Archangel, make sure this is still in the viewfinder here, my bad. Archangel has 4 infantry and an artillery for Russia. Nenetsia is German-controlled with a tank. Vologda has a Russian tank. Urals has a Russian infantry. Alright, here we go. Smolensk, 2 Russian infantry. Moscow, AA gun. 1, 2, 3 artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry. And a Russian fighter. Alright, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 German tanks in Belarus. 7 German tanks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 infantry. 1 mechanized. 2 artillery. 1, 2 fighters, and 3 tacticals. By the way, look at this tactical. I bought that for 50 cents on eBay. I thought I was getting a 4-pack. Read the fine print. But it's very German, yeah. Stuka dive bomber. Alright, cool. So that was that. Alright. Japan infantry in Tunguska, which they control. Japan has all of China, so just put markers everywhere. But here's where they have units. Artillery in Shanghai, mech in Xikang, All right, I'm gonna set this down now. In Shanghai, 2 infantry and a AAA. In Korea, 2 artillery, AAA, 5 infantry. In Hong Kong, it's on the viewfinder, tank and mech. Like I said, just mark everything. It's all theirs. The Russians have 2 mech, thanks Lend-Lease, and 6 infantry and a MIR. Okie dokie. Let's just do India. Come on. There we go. There we go. The Brits have a minor factory in West India and 2 infantry. In India itself, there's 3 Anzac fighters. I think this tank was here. 3 Anzac fighters, 1 Brit fighter, Strat bomber, 2 tanks, 3 AAA, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry. C-Zone 39 has battleship and cruiser. Burma has 2 infantry. Shan State is Japanese controlled with 2 infantry and 2 artillery. French Indochina is Japanese controlled. Kwang Si, Japanese controlled, has 2 tactical bombers and 2 fighters. And then in Yunnan, he's got 2 tacticals, 2 fighters, 2 tanks, 2 infantry, and 2 artillery. Good night. Malaya, 3 British infantry. Sumatra is British controlled with an infantry artillery. There's a British transport in 41, 2 destroyers in 37, 2 destroyers in 43. Brits controlled Sumatra. Java and Celebes are Anzac controlled. Anzac has an infantry in New Zealand. And then 1, 2, 3 infantry in New South Wales with an artillery, 2 AA guns. C-Zone 62 has a sub-destroyer and cruiser. Easy there, ships. Okay. Ooh. Caroline Islands, it's Japanese control with 2 infantry and an AA gun. But the Anzac destroyers are present in the C-Zone. Anzac also has Dutch New Guinea. Palau, Japanese infantry. Alright, C-Zone 35. 1, 2 Anzac destroyers, Anzac cruiser, Anzac sub, Anzac transport. 2 Anzac infantry on Philippines. American fighter and 2 infantry on Philippines, as well as American destroyer and sub. Alright, we're getting there. C-Zone 25 has an American sub and destroyer. C-Zone 2, too far. C-Zone 2 has a transport. Alaska has a minor factory, a naval port, and the infantry and tank. Canada, infantry artillery. Western U.S. just has 2 AA guns. C-Zone 10 has a destroyer, battleship, cruiser, and a carrier with 2 fighters. Hawaii. Here we go. On the island, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry. 1, 2, 3 artillery, 1 mech, 2 strat bombers. In the C-Zone, I have 3 carriers holding, 5 fighters, 3, 4, 5, and 1 tactical. I have 2 submarines in C-Zone 26. I have 3 transports, 2 cruisers, a battleship, and a destroyer. Oh, golly darn. All right, here we go. Last but not least, the turtle shell. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 destroyers in C-Zone 6, 2 subs, 2 cruisers, 2 battleships. He also has transport. He also has 1, 2, 3, 4 carriers with 1, 2, 2 fighters, and 4 tacticals, and I found another transport. So there's 4 transports in C-Zone 6. The 4 carriers have 4 tactical bombers and 2 fighters on them. Okay, now, mainland Japan. 2 strat bombers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry, 2, 3, 4, 5 fighters, and 3 AAAs. That was a 13-minute disposition of forces. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to put that at the end of the video, like I said earlier. I got to clean all this up now, go to bed, because I leave for Atlanta after I drive my bus tomorrow morning. I'm the chaplain. I'll be praying for you. Say a prayer for all of us traveling for Bloodbath, and say a prayer for those that are unable to join us this year due to Rona, that crazy, crazy disease. And that's all I'll say about it. Anyway, have a great night.